looking at tides for fishing, thinking about going fishing. Yeah, it's on my iPad. You ever look at this website? It's pretty good. Tides for fishing, and it tells you a lot of stuff. Look at the chart. Can you see that? Probably not. Anyway, I can see it. That's the important thing is I can see it. It tells you when the high tide is. Today, low tide was at 12:10. The high tide will be at 6:04. And it tells you about the barometric pressure. And at the bottom here, if you scroll down, it tells you about the solar activity, the solar lunar activity, major periods, minor periods. There's going to be a very high activity between 4:18 and 5:18. It's 2 o'clock now, and the tide's coming up. By 5, it's dark. I want to go now. Should I wait? I think I'm going to wait. Okay, we're going to wait. I'll just sit here. I want to go now. So it is a foggy afternoon here on Davis Canal for day one of trout fishing. We're going out and just trying to get trout, and in order to do that, I'm going to be throwing lures. A lot of times I like to go out in Davis Canal and I'll throw shrimp and stuff because there's a black drum out there and it's always easy to catch black drum. I'm not a good trout fisherman, but I like this little paddle tail. It's got really good movement and it shimmers and it shines. And I've also got this artificial shrimp, which I got for Christmas last year, and I've never caught anything on it, but I always bring it out and try to catch something on it. So basically what I do is when I'm trying to get to my spot, I'll just troll it out, I'll cast it out and just drag it. And as I was dragging it, I hit an oyster and I lost that paddle tail before I even caught anything. So I got this gulp and I threw the gulp out and I got a hit right away. I had this spot where there was a creek dumping out into Davis Canal, and it just seemed like a really good spot where there might be some fish, and I was right. So I got my net and I pulled up this fish hoping it was going to be a trout, but it didn't feel that big, and it wasn't a trout, it was a puppy drum. Now I like redfish, but I like him a little bigger than puppy drum. I don't know how big he was, 14 inches maybe, but definitely undersized. So he took that gulp, I got it right out, and I released him safely back in the Davis Canal. At that point, I'm still in school, so I only get like an hour every afternoon to get out there between like 4 and 5, and it was just getting really foggy, as you can see there. So I'm like, I might not find my way back home. I better just go home, give up while the getting's good, and I'll try it the next day. So since it's December, we've been out and about doing some Christmas shopping, and we ended up going down to Ocean Isle, and we were hungry, wanted to get something to eat. So we ended up at the fish company down there in Ocean Isle, and I've been there a long time ago, but I hadn't been there recently. So we were like, let's stop, just get some lunch, check it out, see what it's like. So we went, and beware, the stairs get slippery when they're wet, and there were a lot of stairs. You got to climb the stairs to get to the top, and then they have the menus there, and you think you're going to go in the restaurant, but no, you got to climb some more stairs. But it's got a nice view over the canal there, the intercoastal, I guess it is, and we found a spot, and they give you your menus. So we got our menus, and we went there, and the wind blew, and one of my menus decided it was going to go for a ride, and it went right over the side, and it landed right down there on top of the AC unit, or the heating unit, I'm not sure which it is. So there is my menu, but I got another one, and I looked it over, and I was like, fried soft-shelled crab sandwich. That's the one for me. I like soft-shelled crab sandwiches. So the way it works is basically, once you decide what you want, you just go up to here, and you order. The bartender there put in another order. She's going to come in a minute, and she takes your order, and then they bring your food up, and there's my crab sandwich all ready to go. Looks pretty good. And they have like Japanese food there too, so Kim got some Japanese food, some bowls, some kind of thing, and it was pretty good. And it was very touristy, but it was still pretty good. I went downstairs and they had like a little store, and I thought it was just going to be like for t-shirts and stuff, but they actually had a really nice collection of fishing supplies. So while Kim was looking at shirts, I decided like maybe I can pick up some more soft plastics for Davis Canal. So I thought about these squid, but they might be kind of big. And I thought about this guy, and I'm like, oh, that's a big hook. I catch a big fish on that. So I ended up just deciding to stick with what I want. Interesting enough, though, they want you to keep the door closed when you're done. I don't know why you would leave it open, but anyway. Everything in the store seemed to be really big. I guess they want you to catch big fish there in Ocean Isle, even this reel. So anyway, that was our excursion down to Ocean Isle. I went back and I fished the next day, and I wasn't catching anything on the gulp. So I had another one of the paddle tails, and I'm like, let me put this guy on this jig head, and let's try him again. And so I got it on there, and I cast it a couple times, and I really wasn't having any luck. I didn't have any luck with the gulp. I didn't have any luck with the paddle tail, even though it looks so beautiful. So I grabbed some of this stuff. It's supposed to smell like fish, and so I'm just rubbing it all on there. If you've ever used it before, I have the shrimp one, and I have this one, Procure. Anyway, I put it on that paddle tail, and I'm not even going to edit the video. You're going to see the whole thing right here. This is the first cast. Now, I hadn't caught any fish. All the casts I was using with the gulp, which smells, and with the paddle tail, which doesn't, but shimmers. And I just threw this guy out, and I started reeling it in, kind of like letting it sink, and then reeling it in, and kind of giving it a little pull, and then it got almost right up to the kayak, and I just kind of figured it wasn't going to work. And right at that moment, here, doom. And it was like thump, thump, thump. And I was like, whoa, what's going on? I wasn't expecting to catch a fish. I think even my net is too far down. I wasn't expecting, I can't reach it. So I was like, all right, I was going to pull this guy up along the side of the kayak here and just pull him up with my hand. And hoping it was a trout. But when I got him back up, it was the puppy drum again. I think this is the same one I caught. It's about the same size. But he definitely liked that Procure. He liked the smell of that because he hit it right away. And there's my great catch and release right there. I just kind of dropped him. So went back, came out day 3, and I was trolling along, and I really wasn't expecting anything. And all of a sudden, I was right in the middle of the canal. I was actually just paddling across, and I got a bite. And this was a nice one, and it was just on my little pink rod. And think it was the gulp I was pulling, and this time I had my net. That was the only thing I was prepared for, is I had my net close enough where I could get it. And when I pulled him alongside of the net of the boat, I could tell this was a nice fish, because he was giving me a hard time just getting him along the side, you know. Got my net down there, scooped him up, and it was a speckled trout. I'm like, finally, yes. 3 days. I told you I'm not very good at catching these things. You know, I watched another guy on a dock, and he caught 2 while I was out there casting earlier, and he had caught 2 right in front of me, and I hadn't caught any. So this is my first one of the season, actually, after 3 days. And so yep, definitely the gulp there. And I measured him. I have a little measuring tape. I actually had my old measuring stick. I dropped it in the canal and it sank, so I had to get a new one. So if anyone finds that, it's mine. And I got this like tape measure. It's kind of got little fish on it. It's nice looking, but it doesn't really go straight. But I still measured him, and he was 17 inches. And I'm like, all right, that's going to go home. We're going to eat him for dinner. So there you go. Get out there and try fishing.